With the ongoing nationwide road construction and rehabilitation, traditional budgetary provisions will not be adequate for funding such a huge venture. Alternative means of funding must be applied.
Well, I can't take credit for that. This is teamwork, really, first starting with the leadership and support we get from the President and the Vice President, and also from my colleagues in the economic management team, and in particular the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Budget. Without all of their support, probably won't be where we are. So to the Minister of Solid Minerals, of Mines and Steel Development, pardon me, and Minister of State for, everybody has played their role in team. So to my colleagues, the Ministers of State 1 and 2, Mustafa Babashehuri and Suleiman Hassan Zaman. So, and it's teamwork. But the point is that we, as a team, we continue to be innovative. We have the first, I think, government raised, federal government raised sukuk. And people are saying now, so this kind of funding is available, let's use it. Those who were fighting it as an Islamic fund before have now realized that it's in very, very proficient and prolific use in the United States and in many parts of Europe, including the UK. We also have the tax credit incentive policy from the old administration, which we have extended and modified, and we've used that to deliver financing arrangement for Obajan-Akaba Road and parts of the Bodo Boni bridge with the NLNG. We're also pursuing it now for the Apapa, Tinkan, Isolo, Oshodi, Uroshoki route with the Dangote Group, who want to make the investment to rebuild that network of roads strategic to the ports and reclaim it by tax credit, because so it's like they are spending the tax they should pay in advance and they will claw it back later. So these are all the options. We are also looking at the Ministry of Finance is working on some other long-term infrastructure instruments that other sectors of the private sector can invest in and create longer-term funding that will go to infrastructure.
The reasons for road failure from time to time are numerous. Some are natural causes, and quite a few are due to human activity or inactivity. When such failures occur, government takes the blame. How is the ministry dealing with this?
Emergencies are what they are, emergencies. They are largely compelling in terms of a need to respond. Maybe a road has suddenly failed, a bridge has suddenly collapsed. There are so many things that cause them. There are preventive causes such as maintenance. There are unexpected and unavoidable causes such as intervention of nature. There are also causes that planning can deal with when the infrastructure itself has reached the end of its design life and we should have changed it. So these are things that we are addressing on many fronts. We are trying to build a maintenance program for the ministry from where we want to expand it to the entire government and hopefully to the entire country. And the interesting thing about maintenance is that it actually provides employment for close to 70% of the built industry. Construction only employs just about 10 to 15%, and design covers the rest in the built industry. The bulk of employment in the built industry is really through maintenance, and we must do this if we are going to respond to jobs and all of that. Now, in terms of nature, unforeseen, those are what they are. You can't help them. We've seen them from Hurricane Irma to all parts of the world in mudslides, everywhere, and the impact. We've seen them in Tatabu, in Niger, also in Nigeria. We've responded as a government. We've seen some of them in rivers. We've responded also as a government. We've also seen those that are induced by human activities, such as mining sand under the Tamburawa Bridge in Kano. Those must stop because they are the products of illegal activity, and it goes back to the question of law and order. But all told, emergencies being what they are, we must also budget for emergencies. So we must have provisions in our budget that are contingency or miscellaneous provisions, just like any human being does. If you want in your home, you just keep something that in case, that in case money, we must have it. Because that is what makes nations react when these things happen and human beings who they are responsible for experience dislocation of their lives and all of that. That is what gives the president the gravitas to say, look, I am deploying these people here because he knows that there is a budget. So there must be consensus between the executive and legislature that every budget must have a contingency for infrastructure so that we can respond to emergencies.
One of the biggest employers of labor as far as roads are concerned is maintenance. The question is the current road maintenance architecture adequate? What is the ministry doing to reorganize, review, or strengthen it if necessary?
Adequacy is a function of implementation and continuous assessment of how well you are doing. We have a partnership with the international development partners under the road sector development unit of the ministry. And what they're doing is they've provided technical support to be able to use technology to assess the quality of the road without opening it up. So this is technology, equipment placed on a truck that goes around, and it can tell you on a stretch of 100 kilometers which section is most likely to fail quicker than which section. So it also tells you the quality of failure that has already taken place or the quality of deterioration, and it tells you therefore where to spend money. Now, we are collating the data. It's taking time because so this responds to whether I'm satisfied or not. You need to then have all of the data that tells you where the problems are, where to prioritize spending. So it requires capacity building, which is already taking place. It requires, when you build capacity, now programming the works that delivers that and funding the works that deliver that. And in terms of capacity also, you see the energy that a reconstituted FEMA, Federal Road Maintenance Agency, has brought on with its management being put in place. So these are all of the combined activities that will ultimately lead to qualitative road maintenance to ensure that roads last their design life, coupled with enforcement, coupled with voluntary compliance by users of the road who use the road in the way that it was designed to be used, not by abusing it.
The country is approaching a season where the administration must necessarily go before the electorate to render account. The Honorable Minister for Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, SAN, has always maintained that he will always do the right thing for the development of the country, irrespective of the season. So we ask, in terms of road infrastructure, do you think the country is better off today?
I think in terms of what we've done in the last 2 years plus, we're better than where we were yesterday. And it is not what I say really that matters. It is what people who use the roads say. Within the first year, those who use the roads in parts of the southeast said, oh, for the first time, we didn't travel through the bush this time. Although we noticed that the road hasn't finished, but some palliative work is done. Subsequently, some have said, okay, our journey time from a road, a place like Lagos to Ibadan, has reduced from 4 hours to 2 hours. Now go and calculate the cost saving to that person. And when I traveled around the states, that's the same feedback I got. And we will continue to take that feedback. So it's not what I say. Because, as I said, that's the end of investment in infrastructure. We haven't reached the end because we haven't finished. It's actually service.
The road passing our land to the east, and by the grace of God, whatsoever the federal government puts in here, the Asian people will gain a lot of it.
Before we drive from Ikom to Calabar, more than 4 hours. But for now, it's less than 2 hours now to Calabar.
This road where is here is wrong. That is no good at all. Even the gear 1 why they carry the reaching go. But now gear 5. Before hours I don't reach and go. As it's me and you they talk, no, I don't reach and go already. But the road now is very nice.
They are highly impressed with what is going on, unlike what it was about 4 or 5 years back. Development is turning around, economy is turning around, and everybody is impressed.
Those who are already benefiting from the actions, jobs returned, quarry, mining, truckers, suppliers, vendors, they will tell you that what is happening on the road, they like it. But really and truly, I think that we must continue to do things because they are right, not because they catch votes. Because ultimately, what is not right will ultimately hurt us. So I am quite comfortable with the choices that we have made. We have decided to walk a very long journey of solution provision rather than placebos and makeups. So I'm not interested in makeups. I'm interested in solving the problem. So I want to walk away knowing that the problems I engaged, I solved as many as I could, and I make them better than where I met them.
Highest budgetary provision for infrastructural development ever in Nigerian history. The innovative ways applied by the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration in raising funding for the projects and the proactive manner these projects are being handled by the Power Works and Housing Ministry, Nigerians are already enjoying better travel experience on better roads. The promise is that the momentum will be sustained.